TMCnet at NextCom 2008.
Hello again, welcome. I'm Erik Linask, coming to you live from NextCom 2008 in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here with Sonus Network's Chief Technology Officer, Vikram Saksena. Welcome, Vikram.
Thank you.
So, in my conversations today already, one of the big themes that I'm hearing is mobility.
Yes.
And the convergence of
yes.
mobile and fixed solutions. Is that something you're seeing as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think the entire industry now is focused on driving, from a services perspective, the idea of converged networks and converged applications. And we are seeing a very strong focus in the show as well as in what customers are trying to do in driving things like IP voice services and IP video and other forms of multimedia services over both wireline and wireless networks. So that's really being a strong driver for our industry as a whole, and Sonus is a key player in that space.
And in terms of adoption of those kind of services, what are we seeing in the market?
I think what the market is doing nowadays is that using broadband as a last mile technology, whether it's fixed broadband or wireless broadband like WiMAX, they want to drive as much of IP services in a converged form as much possible. So IP voice clearly is the first application beyond the data stuff that is moving there, and we are seeing now emergence of blending IP voice services with some aspect of IP video and video streaming services, as well as instant messaging and presence and those kinds of services. So people, our carriers are really focused on driving the maximum value out of that broadband wireless connection.
And how big of a factor does mobility play in that?
Mobility is absolutely essential now. I think there is no application that we see going forward where mobility is not intrinsic, because consumers more and more are mobile. They use that as part of their suite of things that they do. It's a very personal device. They like to carry it. They want the services to be available on mobile device as well as on PCs and TVs and all that. So I think mobility is very intrinsic. People now take it for granted that if you don't have a mobile component, it's not good enough.
Then where does something like WiMAX fit into the equation, both, I guess, on the fixed and on the mobile side?
On the mobile side. I think WiMAX today is serving as a great technology for fixed wireless broadband, especially in emerging markets and countries where the wired broadband had some weaknesses and flaws. So that's where we are seeing maximum deployment. And of course, in that fixed broadband connection to the home, voice is a key application, because the first thing they want to do is put a phone behind it and provide voice services. So that's almost looks like a fixed broadband solution similar to a wired broadband solution. The mobility aspects are now coming into play with chips coming on handsets and other mobile devices for PCs and mobile phones. So I think the mobile aspect of WiMAX is something we will see over the next 2 to 3 years. But today, the main driver is fixed WiMAX.
And what about voice over WiMAX? If I'm not mistaken, you just announced a voice over WiMAX solution.
Yes. We have had a voice over broadband solution for a while, which has been successfully deployed in many tier 1 carriers running over DSL or cable networks. And what we have done basically is added WiMAX-oriented quality of service capabilities to that solution. So now we can deliver in a high-quality fashion voice over WiMAX to endpoints that are connected to the WiMAX network. So our ASX and IMX application platforms, which deliver triple play services, voice, data, and video, we can now roll it over to a fixed broadband WiMAX network.
Yeah, excellent. And I guess one of the other things with these new converged services, new enhanced multimedia applications, the one thing that providers can't overlook is security, and that's something that you've also played a major role in.
Yes. So clearly our network border switching product, which provides security both on the access side as well as on the peering side, provides all the capabilities for securing your access, as well as providing capabilities like NAT traversal, carrier-oriented billing, and other features that carriers are used to providing in a traditional voice network. We now make them available as a border security product on our proven GSX platform.
Fantastic. What can we expect to see going forward from Sonus?
So going forward, I think the theme will continue to be fixed mobile convergence, especially focused on 4G. There is a technology called LTE, which the mobile guys are trying to deploy. So we already are working on an LTE version of our WiMAX or our mobile solutions, so we can provide converged services over an LTE network, as well as providing seamless mobility between 3G and 4G networks. So those are some of our key emphasis points, and I think both real-time services, voice and video, will continue to be our drivers for the future.
And are business customers or consumers driving the demand for these kinds of services from their service providers?
I think we are seeing both, actually, but the early adopters are more likely on the enterprise side, because unified communications has always been a driver in the enterprise. And so now they are using FMC with converging PBX and your Microsoft Windows infrastructure, as well as Web 2.0 infrastructure, into a single unified communications framework. So we are seeing that driver on the enterprise side. I think on the consumer side, what will drive is the convergence of social networking, as well as traditional means of text messaging and voice communications all coming together. But that may be a little bit behind the enterprise set, which seems to be the main driver right now.
Excellent. Certainly an exciting time for the industry, an exciting time for you, it seems like, and there's a lot to look forward to.
Yes.
We've been chatting with Vikram Saksena from Sonus Networks. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.